हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम बैक टू कॉलेज दुनिया स्टडी अब्रॉड। माय नेम इज स्वप्निल त्रिपाठी एंड आज हम एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग कैंडिडेट से बात करेंगे। इनका नाम है कीर्ति गर्ग एंड ये अपनी बैचलर्स डिग्री परस्यू कर रही है फ्रॉम प्रिंसटन यूनिवर्सिटी। प्रिंसटन यूनिवर्सिटी इज अ मेंबर ऑफ आईवी लीग यूनिवर्सिटीज and did you know Albert Einstein used to take guest lectures back in the day at this university? Chalo, without any hold up, let's move in our conversation ahead. But if you also have a study abroad dream, then description में जाओ, क्लिक ऑन द फर्स्ट लिंक, अपने बेसिक डिटेल्स भरो एंड हमारे एक्सपर्ट काउंसलर्स आपको सिर्फ 24 घंटे के अंदर जरूर रीच आउट करेंगे। वी ऑल्सो हैव टू वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग ऑफरिंग्स, द वीजा गारंटी पैकेज एंड द ऑफर लेटर गारंटी पैकेज, सो डू नॉट फॉरगेट टू चेक देम आउट एज वेल। नाउ लेट्स मूव अहेड। Hello and welcome back everyone to College Dunia Study Abroad. Hi Kriti, how are you? Do you want to introduce yourself to our viewers now?
Hi everyone. I'm Kriti Garg. I'm entering my second year at Princeton University and I'm very excited to be here today.
Okay, perfect. So Kriti, you're almost about to enter your second year, but let's take a couple steps back and we'll be talking about your whole study abroad journey in detail. And my first question would be, अपने scores के बारे में बताओ, कौन से exams दिए? Tell me something about your academic profile.
तो academic profile wise इतना कुछ खास नहीं है, but एक तो मैंने SAT exam दिया था, वो that everyone has to give. Not has to, I mean it's become optional now, but मेरे time में optional इतना नहीं था. And I had gotten a 1510 on my SAT, which is a pretty good score. Anything above 1500 is generally considered a good score. And school में I was in a CBSE school, so I had the board system. And to be very honest, मेरे को अपना board का percentage याद नहीं था until I was asked अभी. I think मेरे आए थे around 96.
Okay, that's great. So you have to give SAT. Do you also have to give any language proficiency exam? कोई IELTS, TOEFL या कुछ?
मुझे नहीं देना पड़ा था because none of the universities I applied to really required it. And कुछ universities admission के बाद मांगते हैं कि once your admission has happened in that university, then they're like, okay, can you send us a IELTS score? Or it depends university to university, but I didn't have to give IELTS or TOEFL because I'd been in an English medium school all my life and I'd gotten a very good score on my English portion of the SAT. So
I guess that you've already mentioned कि तुमने और भी universities में apply करा था. Quickly go through तुम्हारे क्या applications थे, कहाँ से accepts आया, कहाँ से rejects है. If you could tell us about that.
थोड़ी सी लंबी list है. I don't suggest doing this, but I had applied to almost 20 universities, which in the US is a lot.
By far this is the greatest number of applications जो किसी candidate ने करा.
This is 20 just in the US, by the way. मैंने 4 UK में भी applications डाले हुए थे.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I'd applied to all the IVs and IVs के अलावा I'd applied to Duke, Northwestern, Northeastern, Wellesley.
IVs में कौन से colleges में तुमने apply करा था? Can you name them please?
Okay, yeah. I'd applied to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth, Cornell, Columbia, UPenn and Brown. Yeah, so those were the 8 IVs and उसके अलावा और colleges में भी किया था. So that included Duke, Northwestern, Northeastern, Wellesley.
Because you applied to a lot of universities.
Yeah.
हर university का application fee होगा, right?
Right, yeah.
So is there any way कि fee waiver वगैरह मिल सकता है, application fee waive off हो सकती है, and क्या तुम्हारे साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ था?
नहीं, हमने fee waiver मांगा नहीं था, but I know कि हाँ होता है fee waiver and like थोड़ा सा मतलब it's a little bit of a process to get the fee waiver, but हो जाता है if you ask for it and they think कि हाँ you're eligible to waive the fee, then they do it.
ठीक है, प्रिंसटन में ऐसा होता है?
हाँ होता है, you can ask for the fee to do it.
Okay, so कहाँ से accepts आए, कहाँ से rejects आए?
Rejects ही आए mostly, but एक जगह से acceptance आ गई जो बहुत बढ़िया था.
Which was Princeton.
Which was great. So accepts आए थे from UPenn, from Wellesley, UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego. I think इन्हीं जगहों से आए थे. And I'd gotten and NYU से आया था.
Okay, and बाकी सारी जगहों से rejects आया, right?
Rejects और waitlist, हाँ.
Okay, so why do you think you got rejects from those particular universities or got waitlisted over there मतलब do you think it's the profile that has some play in it या कुछ specific reason?
I think हर यूनिवर्सिटी का एक बहुत स्पेसिफिक फिट होता है. They look for a very specific type of student to kind of round off their incoming class. So maybe I didn't have what they needed in that class year for that. There are so many students applying with such amazing profiles. After a certain point, a lot of it is also just luck sometimes. So बस किस्मत अच्छी थी maybe and I got Princeton, but so many people with such amazing profiles also don't get. So kabhi luck also plays a role. But yes, but universities try to look कि in उनके class year में how can they make it a very well-rounded class, have students from each background, different interests, different academic profiles. So maybe I just didn't have what they needed for their class.
Okay, so because you have mentioned कि there's an overall fit for every university, right? Princeton के लिए what do you think कि क्या वो fit था जो which is common between you and your other batchmates as well? What was Princeton looking?
I think Princeton was just looking for people who are very like passionate about what they're doing at that time. बस उनको ये चाहिए था कि if this person has displayed a very strong interest in some specific thing, like उनको दिल से कुछ करना है इसके बारे में, and they are eloquent, they know how to put their point across, they know how to like they've given a good profile and they have something they're very interested in. I think that's what Princeton was looking for.
Now because you also got काफी अच्छे स्कोर थे तुम्हारे SAT एग्जाम में, right? Let's talk about the exam के बारे में कुछ बताओ. How did you prepare? How much time did it take?
Yeah, so the SAT exam, it has two portions, a reading and comprehension portion and one math portion. So 800 के दोनों होते हैं. And I think थोड़ा सा subjective होता है कि how much time you should take to prepare for SAT because everybody has their own strengths. But मेरे लिए I took about 3 months to give my first exam. And then a few months after that, I gave it again. So I gave it twice.
Okay.
पहली बार मेरा score इतना अच्छा नहीं आया था. Even though practice test में I was doing well, I don't know, on that day I didn't do so well. And then second time I gave it again and I got 15-10 and I was happy with that. So yeah, it थोड़ा सा, some people go to coaching centers, but a lot of people just prep on their own. Online there's this thing called Khan Academy, जिस पे बहुत अच्छा SAT prep होता है. Like they have lots of practice tests, they have modules also, so it's a free resource, and that was what I found to be the most useful actually out of everything.
Now moving ahead, before we talk about your admission process, I want to talk why did you choose to study abroad right after your standard 12? Why did you not apply for any Indian institutes?
I mean, from a very young age only I knew कि मेरे को बाहर जाना है. I want to थोड़ा सा explore, go outside India, see what's there, थोड़ा सा अलग perspective मिलेगा. And मेरे parents भी बहुत supportive थे. So they also, once they realized कि I want to go abroad, my brother stayed in India, did his college education in India, which was also great. He went to some great universities. And I went abroad. So that was a different experience. It wasn't कि it'll be better. It'll be कि अलग exposure मिलेगा, अलग type के लोग मिलेंगे. It'll be more suited to my personality, maybe, I don't know.
But you could have also pursued this whole dream in your master's degree as well, no? If let's say तुमने plan करा होता. And then don't you think कि work-ex वगैरह लेकर फिर master's degree अपनी pursue करो, that's much more beneficial and value adding to the candidate, या फिर just for the bachelors you go abroad? What's better?
I think bachelors and masters abroad are two very different things. Like you go for very different purposes. Bachelors abroad, I think was a very good choice for me because personally I feel कि the relationship I have with my education and the relationship that I've seen some people have here with theirs is very different. Like I mean choice होती है सबकी कि to stay or to go. But I think the kind of exposure, the kind of resources, just the atmosphere of जो learning होता है, I think is, for me at least, much better. Yeah.
All right. You chose to pursue bachelor's in public policy, right? Were you also aiming for any other programs?
हमारा क्या होता है? I didn't have to choose मेरा क्या program होगा before coming. So I can choose whatever. I can even switch to computer science or electrical engineering now if I wanted to. So it's not key if I get in because of a certain major, I have to stick to it. Abhi I haven't declared which major I want to pursue. But matlab I'm choosing to pursue a major which is a mix of public policy, economics, psychology, politics. इसका एक मिक्स का एक मेजर होता है. It's called School of Public and International Affairs.
Now moving towards your admission process, when did you start applying, or when did you start preparing for this whole relocating to US thing and looking for a university? Admission process कब start करा and कैसे start करा?
मतलब 9th 10th में I was very actively involved in a lot of extracurriculars and I was doing a lot of things, but I wasn't sure कि I would be applying abroad. I got sure midway through class 10 कि I want to apply abroad. That's when I started talking to mom, dad also कि ये करना है, वैसे करना है, वो करना है. So 11th 12th में I did internships, I did projects, all that. And then so क्या हुआ था, class 12 the application process is so your applications are due December of the year before you join. So if I joined in 2022, December 2021 is when the application is due for most colleges.
Okay.
So every college unke application process mein they'll have questions and you have to write essays on those questions. You have to give them questions like what has been a meaningful experience for you in your life, and 50 words on it. Like some of them are very, very out there, very bizarre type of questions. Some universities only have 2-3, but some have like 10-15. And एक common app करके एक चीज होती है. In that common app, so you have to list 10 extracurriculars you've done in your high school, and you have to have one personal essay. So that's your statement of purpose. एक main essay होता है, और then you add colleges to that common app, and उन colleges के specific questions होते हैं. They can be very random questions. What's the soundtrack of your life right now was one question from Princeton.
अच्छा.
Yeah, so it's
Princeton के और क्या questions?
Why what's an activity that's been meaningful to you in high school, or जैसे what was the soundtrack of your life? What gives you joy? So, and you have to get very creative with these answers. How do I portray myself in a good way? How do I show them the qualities they want to see in a student while also answering the question in a very creative manner? Those those few months before December were very stressful, and as they are for everyone who's applying, because you're like writing your answers, you're showing them to people कि ये पढ़ो, ये कैसा है, does this sound nice? It's a very stressful process, but once you're done with it, then you're done.
Okay. चलो एक साल पहले
recommendation भी होता है. Yeah. So in that common app, you have to give letters of recommendation from school teachers, from internship supervisors, all that. Also. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. I was about to ask you this only. कि चलो एक साल पहले ऐसे application process start कर लिया. Then what were the actual necessary documents जो required थे? LOR is one of them. What
LOR.
else?
And not just one LOR. Quite a few universities ask for 2-3 LORs. Sometimes they ask for an external LOR. So from someone who's not from your school. So not a school teacher, from some external person you have to ask for an LOR. One of the colleges asks for a peer LOR. So a friend group में से किसी को पूछो कि a friend has to give you a letter of recommendation basically.
Okay, interesting.
So Dartmouth had asked. So I had to ask one of my friends to write me a letter of recommendation and upload it, which I thought was a very unique thing because who knows you better than your own friends.
So what did Princeton ask for? The standard 2 LORs?
Yeah, Princeton asked for 2 LORs and 2 external LORs.
Okay, all right. And what about the SOP and other important documents? What else was there?
Yeah, so the Common App had your personal statement, which was your main essay. You had to give 10 extracurriculars in like a list format. So in that, उसी में एक वो होता है. A lot of colleges ask for your resume, so you have to make a college resume, um, and then apart from that they ask for grades, but that your school has to upload. They ask for your school transcript,
Okay.
and then come the college specific questions जो उसी ऐप में भरने होता है.
अच्छा, okay, all right. अच्छा, also before I talk about the visa process, how was it? मतलब acceptance letter जब मिला Princeton का, so what was your first reaction?
First reaction was disbelief. My mom and I, हम सारे आईवीओ का एक साथ खोल रहे थे, तो उससे पहले 2-3 रिजेक्शन आ चुके थे, एंड हम इतना एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं कर रहे थे आईवी लीग कुछ होगा. सो वी ओपन प्रिंसटन की, चलो प्रिंसटन खोल के खत्म कर देते हैं, एंड वी ओपनड इट, एंड उसमें पहला एक बड़ा सा टाइगर आया, एंड उसके नीचे कंग्रेचुलेशंस. तो
Tiger is the mascot of Princeton.
Tiger
right?
is the mascot, yes.
Right.
So पहले तो हमने वो देखा कंग्रेचुलेशंस, एंड देन वी वर लाइक नहीं, कुछ गलत खुल गया हमसे, तो हमने वो बंद किया, फिर से खोला जस्ट टू मेक श्योर वो टाइगर अभी भी था, कि कोई ग्लिच विच नहीं था. तो एंड देन व्हेन वी सॉ इट द सेकंड टाइम, देन आई स्टार्टेड क्राइंग, मॉम स्टार्टेड क्राइंग. तो काफी इट वाज जस्ट, उसके बाद nothing made sense, and for a
Then were you then looking for other acceptance letters as well कि बस वहीं पे रुक गए?
नहीं, बाकी भी खोल लिए उसके बाद, पर
okay.
once प्रिंसटन मिल गया तो then we were like अब क्या ही इसके बाद.
Okay, all right. So chalo, that was a very beautiful moment that you and your family shared. But now moving towards the visa process. Tell us something about the whole visa process. कैसे करना होता है? कितना टाइम?
अब थोड़ा टाइम हो गया करते हुए, बट इट्स नॉट एज taxing as some people make it sound. हाँ, मतलब पहले you have to go, you have to seek an appointment to drop off a lot of documents. वो documents फिर drop off होता है.
क्या डॉक्यूमेंट्स होता है?
एक्सेप्टेंस लेटर, एक साल से ज्यादा हो गया अब करते हुए.
ठीक है, let's
एक्सेप्टेंस लेटर, एंड like you have to go online, you have to fill a few forms कि F1 वीजा चाहिए. F1 वीजा के लिए फिर वो दिखाते हैं कि ये लो. So then sometimes you have to give an interview, but most of the time nahi. But then you do the document drop off, you give pictures of yourself, whatever, and then like once you appointment milne mein time lagta hai, so it may take a few months to get an appointment, but once you get the appointment, or like a week or two after that, you have your visa.
अच्छा, और तुम्हें कितना टाइम लगा अपॉइंटमेंट लेने में?
I think अप्रैल में अप्लाई किया था, जून एंड was I think.
Okay. ठीक है, मतलब 2-2.5 महीने टाइम.
हाँ, बट स्टूडेंट वीजा है तो इसलिए they expedite the process because they know students will be leaving in August. So August से पहले they try to do कि जिस दिन का भी student visa है वो हो जाए.
चलो, now you have done the application process, now you are done with the visa as well. Yeah. Now it's time to go to US, right? Yes. My first question is, what are the flight costs from India to US? And where were you going from? मतलब दिल्ली से जा रहे थे आप कि कहीं किसी और सिटी से जा रहे थे?
हाँ, नहीं, हम तो दिल्ली से ही जा रहे थे because I live in Delhi also.
खर्चा कितना हुआ? First flight कितनी खर्ची थी?
First flight around, but we had booked well in advance, but I think it was around 70K per person, I think.
Okay, all right.
And approximately उतना ही होता है usually.
Now because you have lived in US for like a year now. Right, and I'm assuming that you must have traveled a lot. कुछ hack है, कोई airline fare बचाने का कुछ hack है जो students के हमारी share हो सकता है?
कुछ ऐसा hack नहीं है, but बस ये होता है कि don't book on a weekend. बस ये देखा है हमने कि Saturday Sunday को मत book करो, and don't search for flights too much before booking it, वरना वो prices बढ़ जाते हैं. If you clear your search history, clear cache before booking flights, it's cheap. But उससे ज़्यादा इतना, nothing more than that.
ठीक है, all right. I think our viewers will now maybe try to go on incognito and फिर वहाँ से search करेंगे. क्या पता कुछ help out हो. But okay. Now coming back to the first time that you flew to US. अभी पहली बार US में आ गए. How was the whole experience and what did you do after landing in US? Immigration का कुछ process हुआ होगा, right?
हाँ, नहीं तो my parents and me and my brother, we used to live in Maryland for 3 years, which is close to Washington DC. But that was when मैं मतलब 1 साल की थी, तो बहुत time हो गया था. So not exactly our first time. Mom and dad were coming after a while, but they've come before also. But हाँ, and उसके बाद भी एक दो बार जा चुके हैं. हाँ, but it was nice कि मतलब प्लेन से निकल के, एयरपोर्ट से निकल के ये रियलाइज हुआ कि ओके, दिस इज नाउ वेयर आई विल बी लिविंग फॉर द नेक्स्ट 4 years, कि अब ये घर मानना पड़ेगा. तो थोड़ा सा इनिशियली थोड़ा सा एप्रीहेंशन सा था निकलते वक्त, थोड़ा एक्साइटमेंट था, बट वो भी बहुत हिट हो रहा था कि ओके ये है अब घर.
Right, right. And where did you go? मतलब on campus accommodation पे गए थे कि were you living in an off campus accommodation?
Yeah, so first 2 years in Princeton, you have to compulsorily be living on campus, and you have to be on the meal plan also. So I had a dorm on campus, तो हम वहीं गए, and we met my roommates for the first time. मुझसे video call एक बार हुई थी, but we met them for the first time and settled in. First 2 days were international orientation, so all the international students had reached campus early. 2 दिन early होता है international orientation.
And
So first,
your roommates, sorry to cut you off, your roommates were from India or were they from someplace else?
yeah, so first year you can't choose your roommates. You get assigned roommates based on like what they assess personalities. So I got great roommates, loved them. One of them was from China, one of them was from the UK, and one of them was from the US. So the ones from China and UK had already reached by the time we reached, because international. So we were 3 international roommates together, and it was great. Like we met them, instantly hit it off, and we all helped each other set up the room and get things from here and there, helped each other out.
Okay, Kriti, my next question would be, let's assume I'm an international student coming to Princeton and one fine weekend I want to go out. Going out and eating out में कितना पैसा हम खर्च करते हैं as an international student? What do you think?
So if you want to eat off campus, Princeton is right on this thing. It's on a street called Nassau Street, and it's a very cute little street. Lots of eating shops and other types of stores are there. And Princeton has this thing where it gives you on your Tiger card, you have $150 which you can spend on Nassau Street. So if international students, if they want to like not spend too much of their own money, and like if you're smart about it, you can make that $150 last quite a bit. Varna, on the weekend, sometimes what we do is we go to New York. It's about an hour away by train from Princeton. हमारा प्रिंसटन यूनिवर्सिटी के एक छोटा सा स्टेशन है which goes to main Princeton Junction, and वहाँ Princeton Junction से it takes an hour to reach New York. So that train is one way, it takes about $17. And then you mainly in New York you walk around and you take the subway. Subway में once you're in it, like getting in is about $2 to use the subway, and then you're all around wherever you want to go in New York. Mostly you walk around, go here and there.
Okay. So you are already living in an on-campus situation. क्या तुम्हारे कोई और miscellaneous खर्चे हैं in a month?
Not too much. मतलब like midnight cravings होते हैं, so you go to the university store and you get chocolates and chips, salsa. उस सब का खर्चा होता है. You spend a lot of money on coffee. If you're smart about it, you can get like coffee from the dining halls. We also have this thing called late meal, where you can go. It's like a fast food sort of area, and you get $7 per meal, like after meal hours, and to spend on that fast food wala. So you can get burgers or noodles or something. But yeah, that's about it. So but kharcha ho jata hai, like it accumulates, but not to a very concerning extent.
Okay, perfect. So how's the diversity of your whole batch? कितने Indians हैं, कितने बाकी जगहों के students हैं? If you could shed some light on that.
We're a slightly smaller, I mean like not a small batch, but like comparatively with other universities, we're a smaller year. We're 1,600 students in 1 year.
Okay.
Which is considered small, but I know it's not small.
All right.
We say 20% is international.
Acha, 20%.
Which is a solid number. And there are lots of Indian American students in my university, because New Jersey as a state has a very big Indian American population. So Indian Americans बहुत हैं, international students बहुत हैं.
Coming from what all countries, if you could name some?
So coming from Argentina, from UK से बहुत थे, from China, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, from Hungary and Russia, France.
All right, all
So
right, all right.
lots of countries represent. Nearly, I
So,
think,
so very,
67.
very diverse, very
Very
diverse batch. Good enough, good enough. So
I
now,
mean, diverse, yes. 80% of the batch is American, but हाँ, जितना diverse हो सकता है.
hmm, hmm, now talking about your accommodation, Kriti. What was the on-campus expense for the accommodation now, and how is it compared to off-campus? How costly is it?
So Princeton is a very expensive town because a lot of retired people live there. So off campus, I don't know, but I'm sure it'll be very expensive. So all 4 years, even third year, fourth year onwards, people still live on campus mostly. And on campus for room and board is around 9K, which is
Okay,
in dollars.
$9,000 for a month.
No, for the whole year.
Acha, okay, all
For
right, all right.
masters, unless I don't remember it all. But and food is around 5K for the whole year.
All right. Now let's assume that if you have any approximate idea कि off campus कितना खर्चा आता है, if let's say you take a shared flat or something like that, कुछ बता सकते हो?
I don't know. I don't know, but I know it'll be very expensive. Like at least, if not as much, more.
ठीक है, okay. Now, so 9,000 is for accommodation, $5,000 is for groceries, right?
No, for
But
the
for
meal
food,
plan. Meal plan, yeah.
yes, $5,000 is for the whole meal plan. Now, how much are you spending on your tuition cost?
So I'm also on financial aid, and I get about 50% scholarship on my tuition.
Okay, that's very nice. Tell us more about this whole financial aid.
Yeah, so Princeton has need-based financial aid, and it's supposed to be one of the more generous institutions because उनका endowment बहुत होता है. Currently, I am paying 40K is my aid amount from Princeton, and so then for tuition I'm paying around 10K right now, and then 15 to 20 almost for room and board.
So, मतलब $50,000 is your tuition fee, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Out of which you are getting $40,000 as your financial aid.
Yeah.
Okay. How did this whole financial aid ka process happen? What did you have to do to get it?
There is a separate application. So एक होता है college board की तरफ से एक financial aid application होता है, which is common for most universities. But Princeton has its own Princeton financial aid application. It's PFAA. In which they ask you to fill in a lot of details, and uske hisab se they give you the aid amount.
Do you also know about any other scholarship जो bachelor students के लिए available है at Princeton?
So there are no merit-based or वैसा scholarship as such नहीं, only need-based aid होता है. Bachelors में generally in the US scholarship मिलना is a little difficult, but some universities do have. But aid, yes, it's easier to get financial aid in bachelors than in masters, but masters में scholarship मिलना easier होता है.
All right. What was your initial choices of courses जो तुम्हें पढ़ने थे, and how was the faculty like?
Yeah, so I don't think we have time to do all my courses from last semester.
No.
So I did this course called Tech Ethics, which was one of my favorite courses. That was a lecture style course, so there was a bigger room, and then the lecture style courses also have, so you meet twice a week in a big lecture hall where the professor gives a lecture, and once a week you meet in a smaller group, a discussion group of about 10-12 people, which is called a precept. You meet with a preceptor from that lecture. So that you talk about, oh, this is what we did in lecture today, this is what I found interesting, this was cool, this is what. So that was Tech Ethics. So it was about the ethics of AI and Google and all of that, which I thought was a very interesting course. It was taught by a professor who was very interested in what he was teaching, and thus really wanted to show his students कि this is why it's cool. So he would bring in guest lecturers. He would make us do simulations sometimes in class. Once he took class outside because the weather was nice. So just like all of the professors I've had so far really want to teach.
Okay.
Is what I've seen. So मतलब कि उनको passion है अपने subject के बारे में and उनको सिखाना है अपने बच्चों को. I did a course called Physics for Future Leaders in one of my semesters, and that course was taught in the classroom that Albert Einstein used to teach in.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
How was the vibe there in that particular class?
Very uncomfortable seats, very old classroom. So.
All right. ठीक है. Now, that's really good. I mean, talking about the faculties and talking about how classes happen in Princeton.
Yeah.
That's a good information that you're giving right now.
Mm-hmm.
What about other things? Like, what other activities happen? मतलब studies के apart क्या हो रहा है Princeton में in your course? कुछ fairs होते हैं, कुछ events हो रहे हैं. What all is happening?
मतलब there's always something or the other happening, either within your own residential college, like there'll be events fairs, activities fairs, or study breaks, or varna there'll be people who will be coming to give guest talks. Once the Under Secretary General of the UN had come to give a guest talk in one of our lecture halls. Lots of different things keep happening. So there, and like there's a social scene is also very vibrant at Princeton. So sometimes the colleges will organize like a fair, a spring fest, like fun study breaks for students to unwind and take a step away from the academic pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things happening, yeah.
Okay, and also, do you guys celebrate Indian festivals at your university?
Yes, very much so. So huge Indian community, and in fact, like I think one of my favorite memories from Princeton is we had done a Garba night, and in this huge hall, and lots of us, and we were just we went and we did Garba all night, and everyone had come dressed up very nicely. It was great. It was so fun, and
Chalo. On that note, I'll play a chotu sa rapid fire round with you. Tell me 2 pros about studying at Princeton, and then tell me 2 cons about studying at Princeton.
2 pros. Okay, first is the faculty, professors. They really want to teach, and the second is the range of courses you get to choose from. So you can go from tech ethics to surveillance to microeconomics to learning about feminism. There's a huge range you can learn. Cons, right now there's a lot of construction on campus, which a lot of people are complaining about, which is fair. And weather-wise, New Jersey is a little like कभी-कभी बारिश हो जाता है, बहुत ठंड हो जाता है, बहुत गर्मी हो जाता है. So weather-wise, it's a little unpredictable.
Okay. One change that you would want, मतलब कुछ ऐसा क्या? Is there something that you would want to change about your university?
I would want the construction to stop. The construction is.
All right. Okay. ठीक है. So now moving ahead with some very important questions. My first question is Kriti. Why are you doing this course? Like, what's your ultimate objective? Are you gonna be looking out for a job? And if yes, what's the plan with that?
Yes, I mean, the good thing about having gone to Princeton and getting a Princeton degree is, yes, it does open a lot of doors, especially through alumni, because there are Princeton alumni in some of the best companies in the world right now. So if you want to reach out to them, they're always very interested in helping out current recent alumni, recent students. So abhi, even if I know what direction maybe I want to go in, but if I don't know exactly where I want to work, at least I have that confidence ki I'll be able to talk to somebody who is in a position where I can understand what it is they're doing, how they're doing it, what did they do to get there. So वो support network बहुत intense है. And when it comes to part-time jobs or anything like that,
we'll come to part-time jobs in a little bit. But do you know these seniors of yours? अभी तो तुम्हारा course 2026 तक है, right? But the seniors of yours, उनका job prospect कैसा है? Where are they working right now? And approximately how much are they earning after this whole course?
It really depends, matlab, where you want to go. I don't know exactly how much they're earning, but I know they're earning very well, decent. And like the range of where they are, some are from the recent graduating class. There are lots of people in all these top 4 consulting firms. So BCG, McKinsey, all of them. There are lots of people who, if they want, they're at Google, at NASA, at, like, it really depends. Wherever they want to go, they are in whatever field.
Okay, so job prospect के लिए, future prospect के लिए कुछ career fairs वगैरह होते हैं? Princeton?
Job fairs होते हैं. So
have you attended anyone?
I haven't yet. First year में not so many people go because they don't want to look too eager. Also, they don't, because usually the seniors and the juniors go. So the third years and the fourth years, they go to these job fairs. But so like alumni come from different companies and they sit at these job fairs and you talk about career prospects. How are they enjoying it? What are they doing? It's very professional and it's very useful, I think.
Now let's talk about the earnings part. Are you doing any part-time job? And क्या part-time jobs के options available हैं at Princeton?
So on an F1 visa, the only part-time job you can do is an on-campus job. If it's classified as an on-campus job, is the only thing you can do. And uske liye bhi, once you get it, you have to get an SSN. You have to apply for an SSN and then you get one. So abhi I'm currently working on an on-campus job. I work for the Center for Equality and I do social media management and marketing for them. And my hours are flexible. I usually work around 4 hours a week, but I can work up to like whatever. As long as I'm not working full time, I can work as many hours as I want to. And I get around $15 an hour, which is usually
How come as many hours as you want? Matlab, is there no limit for international?
No, there is a limit. So you can't do more than, I think 20. I think 20 is the maximum.
20 hours in a week?
Yes.
Okay.
I could be wrong about this, but no, yeah, but no, my job has like hours flexibility like this because I have a good working relationship with my boss, and they feel if I ask them can I do 3 more hours this week, they'll be fine with it. But so library jobs or jobs in the museum or other jobs like that, mostly are library jobs or related. They have very fixed hours, or college office jobs, again fixed hours, but generally everyone gets paid around $15 an hour, which is the standard.
Acha, okay. Let's say if some student wants, if any student wants कि भाई $15 से ज़्यादा कुछ मुझे कमाना है, is there any job option for that? Is there any part-time job option जहाँ पे $15 से ऊपर?
No, on campus the most you can get is $17 an hour, and if you're an F1 visa, then you can't do an off-campus job.
$17 की कौन सी job position?
Those are more specialized. So those are for being a teaching assistant or a research assistant, like a writing fellow. So more specialized your jobs होती हैं, and those get 17.
All right. Perfect. So good enough. You have your part-time job sorted. You're already going for career fairs, and you're in great touch with your alumni and even your current bosses as well. Good enough. Now let's talk about the final advices. Let's try to conclude this whole interview. And because you were a student, जो bachelor's degree pursue करने वाला है, right? Do you have any final word for the viewers? कि ठीक है भाई, देखो ये ध्यान रखना है, ये ध्यान रखना है. Do you wanna add some final note over here?
I think mainly बस यही advice होगा कि finalize your list of colleges well before that December wala deadline. Start working on those essay questions early and show them to as many people as you want. And also don't be afraid of sometimes applying to colleges which counselors may tell you are out of your reach. Because you don't know what the colleges are looking for. Maybe your grades are not topper or great, but if you have a passion project that is really coming through in your application, or if you've really been working towards something else, or you have some activity which you are just absolutely the best in, that's what colleges are also looking for. So don't be afraid to aim a little higher.
Okay, perfect. I guess this is a very good note to end this whole video. And yes, to our viewers, I hope you found this whole conversation interesting and very insightful. If let's say you have any questions about Princeton or about New Jersey and you want to connect with Kriti, in the description box, we have mentioned her LinkedIn URL. You can just go ahead and talk to her. Thank you so much, Kriti. Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely talking to you.
Yes, it was lovely talking to you, and this interview was great as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this was all about Kriti and her journey of studying abroad. If you like this video, then do hit the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Study abroad के जितने भी नए videos आएंगे, सबसे पहले आपकी feed पे आएंगे. Now we'll see you in the next video. This is Swapnil Tripathi signing off. Bye.